AMC stock finally bottomed after earnings. We'll go ahead and get into that here in this video. AMC stock is up about 0.5% today. That is great news considering we have been Red Dead Redemption every single day and it has not been okay. Now let's go ahead and get into all of this information, guys. We're going to cover everything you need to know on AMC stock. Has the stock bottomed or not? I want to give you guys my opinions here in this video. And if not, where are we going next for AMC? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, guys. As you know, AMC had beautiful earnings, spectacular. Couldn't draw a bad thing from AMC earnings. Now, what happened after AMC earnings was the stock fell. That is because AMC announced they're going to dilute shareholders. The only thing stocks hate more than bad news is dilution news. And that's exactly what we have been getting for AMC. Now, AMC stock was actually green today. This could mark a bottom. Now, I want to give you guys the data here, run through kind of what's going on in the markets before we talk about whether or not AMC has bottomed and where AMC could go if we have not bottomed. So, first things first, I want to point out 10-year treasury yields continue to fall. You are down yet again today. You're at 4.439%. So you've fallen a lot from that high of 5%. If treasury yields continue to fall, that's going to be good. It's going to be very supportive for AMC stock, for stocks with a lot of debt, stocks that will benefit from refinancing debt, will benefit based on rates going lower. That's a simple fact of the matter, and I expect AMC stock will benefit from this at some point or another, whether near term or longer term. As rates continue to fall, AMC will at some point start to benefit from that. Maybe not now, maybe now, who knows? We'll talk about that here in just a second. Now, we've gotten a lot of our catalysts out the way. We've gotten big tech earnings out the way. We do have NVIDIA next earnings. That's going to be, or next week, that's going to be like the last big earnings of this earnings season. You've gotten earnings out the way. Stocks have held up. Stocks have rallied. We've gotten the Fed out the way. We've gotten our major economic data out the way. So I think right now is a big digestion period for the markets and a period of capital transition. Now, capital transition is important here because, you know, stocks that are going to benefit from rates going lower are the ones that are going to actually see the capital, right? A stock like AMC is going to benefit a lot from rates going lower. A stock like Tesla is going to benefit a lot from rates going lower. Your small and mid-cap stocks, your highly indebted companies that will benefit from lower rates and potentially refinancing debt, being able to grow cheaply or cheaper, are going to benefit from that in one way, shape, or another. Now, a stock like AMC will benefit from all of that, especially the refinancing aspect of their their business, right? That might mean less dilution via equity capital raises if AMC can raise capital cheaply, right? They might not need to dilute shareholders. That might be good for AMC's stock price itself. Now, let's go ahead and run through some of the data here for AMC stock. Then we'll get into whether or not I think AMC has actually bottomed. So, first things first, AMC stock was up 0.5% today. That is very good, considering we've been falling so much as of recently. If you take a look at the option orders today, you had two trades. One January 19, 2024, $6 call worth $162,500, and a December 8th, $7.50 call worth $14,620. Bullishly positioned trades with a positive order value of 100% today. Two orders worth $177,000 is your interesting flow sentiment. Your activity on the call side, 69.24% open interest on the call side, 30.76% open interest on the put side. Volume today of 57% calls and 43% put. So some pretty strong numbers that you're seeing over here for this expiration. For next week, you have volume today of 58% calls, 42% puts, open interest on the put side of 38.5%, open interest on the call side of 61.5%. So definitely seeing some good numbers here even for next week as well. Now, if we take a look at the shorts and what's going on here, let's see. Cost bar average 1.71%, cost bar minimum 0.77%, cost bar max 8.6%. Live short interest off your flow at 9.78%, $143 million worth of short positions in AMC stock. Days to cover 0.82, 19.34 million shares that are currently sold short, 18.32 million shares currently out on loan. Cost bar 1.31%, utilization of 42%, and a short score of about 50 out of 100. So some better than not numbers that we, are seeing now compared to what we've seen before. Now, the problem with AMC is this dilution. That's the only problem, the only gripe you can have with AMC. We've just gotten dilution out of the way. So that should be good. That should allow AMC to ultimately bottom. Yes, I do think this stock is going to bottom and then start to make a upwards trajectory movement from there. Now, you guys got to remember this rule change from the SEC is going into effect later in November. This is where we're going to get a lot more information, a lot more clarity on who is short AMC, how long they've been short, what kind of, collateral they're using, who's facilitating these trades, all of that. So that will be very important coming out later this month. We should get a lot more clarity. That should potentially cause some shorts to cover on short positions. Right now, it looks like shorts are just hiding their short positions more than they're actually, covering or doing anything like that. So I think that's why the short interest numbers have fallen so much. I still think the stock is highly, highly short at this moment of time, or in time, I should say. And I do think there's a certain aspect of AMC stock that is just different than other stocks. The stock has a lot of publicity, right? We've been covering the stock for a long time. A lot of people know about AMC. When AMC stock does rally and it looks like all the bad news is priced in or over with, that's when AMC stock is really going to see the MOAS, if you are someone that is waiting for that one. Now, if we look at what the markets are doing, how the markets are feeling for the week of November 15th, we have a bullish sentiment of 43.8%. That is up from last week's about 1%, a little bit over 1%, 1.2% to be exact. Your level of investors that are neutral is down about 2% from 30.2% to 28.1%. And the level of investors that are bearish is actually up 1% from last week's number of 27.2%, now to 28.1%. So I find that pretty interesting. Now, we did get some good news today with building permits. We went over this in the last video, so we won't cover it all too long. But essentially, more building permits means probably more buildings will be built, and that means maybe less housing inflation. But the problem is there's a deep dynamic of, more people today than what we've seen previously, right, in the U.S. country's history. And I mean, you're not building houses. That's a problem. The Fed's not going to change that with raising rates. They're delusional if they think that's the way things work. They obviously don't think that's the way things work. So, that was a little bit of good news today. Now, look at this post from FX Evolution over here on X. Current retail leverage, open bull/bear position, 61% bearish, 39% bullish on the SPY. Now, considering markets have rallied quite a bit, this can be a contrarian bullish indicator, meaning that if a lot of people are bearish, that means stocks could end up rallying higher from here. Now, I think markets right now are waiting on one thing, and they're waiting on one thing only, waiting to see if we're going into a recession or are we not. That's a simple fact of the matter. Recession or not is going to be important for AMC as well, considering AMC is considered a privilege, right? To go to the theaters, it's not a necessity. You want to see us avoid a recession. I think that is going to happen, and I think we'll have a little bit more clarity on that as we head into the holiday season, as we get more data for the month of November, which we should start to get some data like your Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey data coming out here in the next week or two. I think inflation is all but done, but the markets might want to see another report or two just confirming that. Now, let's take a look at this Stocko tracker data here. This is important in terms of have we bottomed or not. This week, you had a lot of calls that expired out the money, 166,000, puts expiring in the money of about 34,000, puts expiring out the money of 40,502. Now, for next week, you do have a lot of option activity, especially to the call side. 2,000 calls currently in the money, 42,000 calls out the money, 18,000 puts in the money, and 11,000 puts out the money. Again, kind of the same setup as we have this week. Lots of puts in the money, lots of calls out the money. If the stock does go higher, puts go out the money, calls go into the money, boom. That's where you can get a lot of buying pressure on AMC stock. And that's something that I do expect to happen maybe in this upcoming week as well as, the following weeks. Simply put, AMC stock has fallen so much that I think the dilution is priced in. I think the bearishness is priced in. I do think AMC stock bottoms here. Now, problem is, if you break under $7.05, if there's some piece of bad news that comes out, whatever happens, who knows what could happen or what is going to happen, then AMC could fall to about $5 per share. That's the problem here. You could fall to $5 per share, or you could bottom here in the $7 range. If you don't bottom, then you fall to about $5 per share. That would be my expectation. And, you know, that would obviously not be great for investors in AMC stock. Now, good thing is, like I said, the stock is so bearish, it's almost bullish. The RSI at 33.78 supports to me. You probably get a short-term bounce here, and you are seeing a lot of demand support coming in the $7 range. Again, notice how we bounce from $7.26 today and close at $7.43 today. I think the situation looks a lot more bullish at this point than bearish, considering you've been so bearish and you've already fallen so much. Now, if you look at the MACD, the MACD is slightly negative as well, but overall has trended upwards in a pretty good way. So that's, you know, something that I like to look at personally. It doesn't necessarily mean we're just going to rally from here, but it could be a good sign that things are holding up. The bulls are actually holding up in control still. So this is kind of my opinion. I do think we have bottomed. I don't know how fast or how aggressively we're going to make that upside move, but I do think we have bottomed. If we haven't, then you probably fall to $5 per share pretty quickly under $7. That's uncharted territory. We just don't know what the heck is going to happen under $7. And I think you could fall to $5 if that is the way that we do go, guys. So that is going to go ahead and do it for this video. I wanted to make this one short, sweet, straight to the point, let you guys get on with your weekends. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.